Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Nerd Haven podcast. We are talking today about Ant-Man and the Wasp, the sequel to the very popular Ant-Man. I am here today with John. John, how's it going, buddy?
Hello, Mr. Nine. It is me, just like in any other podcast. I have returned. But this is the podcast I've been looking forward this entire second watch, or the basically our entire journey led us to this moment
This moment.
because yes, as I have alluded in the previous podcast, I've been looking forward to this one on my second rewatch of all the MCU movies, more than the Endgame, more than the Infinity War, more than in any other freaking Avenger movie. This is the moment
And
where we
I'm
can
really
finally talk about
curious
this
to
movie.
find out exactly why. I to get things started, I like this movie. I did think it was a bit of a step down from the first one. Not not like a huge step, but there were some things that I felt were uh didn't have that brand new shiny toy type of thing. I think they repeated a lot of things that just didn't hit the same way they did the first time. But overall, I think this is a pretty entertaining movie.
I rarely ever consider these MCU movies actually like movies that I would consider like my very favorite ones. But this one is there. I've sang many praises about the Guardians of the Galaxy, the second movie, and that one I can
Mhm.
recognize it has some issues. It has certain parts that are skippable, perhaps even boring, but it also has like a bunch of very cool scenes, very cool
Yeah.
moments that I just adore, that made me cry, that made me laugh, and I love them for it. And that's why it was my very favorite MCU movie I've ever seen up until
Mhm.
this one, because
Oh.
both on my first and on my second rewatch, this is my 10 out of 10 movie. This is my favorite movie of all the MCU movies. This is a movie where I literally have no complaints and where I used my notes from the first watch and didn't add anything to them on my second watch because I agree with all of them.
Yeah.
And I
Nothing
just
changed
love
from
this
your
movie so
first to
much.
second watch?
No, not a single thing. And notes, I have many.
Not even in like in a positive way?
I expected to. I expected to find out like more about it,
Mhm.
and perhaps I've added like a thing or two here and
Okay.
there, or like
Okay.
fleshed out certain thoughts. But like genuinely, nothing really that comes to mind right now. It's
Awesome.
just overall perfect movie for me.
Yeah, that's awesome. Cause like the first Ant-Man for me, I remember I rated it super high when it came out in theaters because I think it accomplished something that's very rare, and that's to introduce me to a I'm gonna say property, right? Like Ant-Man, a character, and instantly made me feel for that character and also make it feel uh I don't know, relatable in ways that are not exactly real, you know? I think that it has a way of doing or bringing or showing what I loved about Iron Man, like the first one, and it's like, do you know, I can kind of buy this technology. I can buy I can buy all this happening, and I really love the character. So the second one, I think the same thing from Paul Rudd. Absolutely love him, love his performance and the relationship with the daughter and with Hope. I have no complaints in regards to that. I think it felt a little copy and paste sometimes, and that was a bit of my issue, but overall I do enjoy this movie quite a bit.
I've said this before. Somehow, I always find these second movies in like these sub series always better than the first one. The first one is like a step up, you know. Sorry, the first one is like a setup, and
Yeah.
the second one is a step up, and the third one is usually like, I still like it, you know. I see what you're going for there, but it's not as
Hmm.
good as the second one. And with this one, I was just so surprised how much I enjoyed it. I was also surprised that I enjoyed the first one, you know. But
I was
I
surprised too.
very yeah, I didn't expect it at all. But like try my best to just completely open my mind to these movies and to the idea that there might be something worth enjoying. And the first one really surprised me. I really enjoyed it. And this one, just, I cannot freaking believe it, how much I was hooked from the very first moment of the movie. You know, the whole premise about the quantum tunnel. I liked it.
Yeah,
The whole, hey, we're mad at freaking Ant-Man for like being with Avengers and like trying to save the world and not calling us. I I liked it. I find this movie so mature, so funny, and like so grounded, yet also like based in reality, even though it's like scientifically kind of fantasy, but like everything is explained, everything makes sense. And
exactly. Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of how I feel about it. It's like this is all kind of BS, but like the way that it's spun and the way that it's shown, it's like, I can see this. I can see it happening. And and it's great, right? Because it doesn't your suspension of disbelief doesn't it's not like that uncalled for or like you don't have to reach that much.
absolutely. I really like how they show everything. Like in terms of visuals, it's just perfect. Both the first movie and the second movie are just so well done in terms of like the small stuff, the large stuff, and the effects, and even the fight scenes. I found super freaking cool. Like with those
Hmm.
suits. It's just so nice to see. And I know it's a bit strange, like, watching this after freaking Infinity War. The stakes are definitely different. But
Yeah.
even that I find super refreshing.
Yeah, but it also I don't know, it was kind of a breath of fresh air, like what you say, refreshing. It's just it let you kind of step back for a second and enjoy something a bit more smaller scale, and I think it actually worked to its favor.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I have to say, like, the entire cast, I have not a single person I wouldn't absolutely adore in this movie.
Hmm.
Both the old ones, the old guard, and the new ones. Freaking Goggins shows up. He's so amazing.
Yeah. So in this one, we have the Wasp, right? How
Yes.
how do you feel about the like Hope stepping into her own like superhero identity and actually being kind of more badass and competent than Scott in many ways. Um but how do you feel about her character in that kind of evolution?
So I have a little anecdote about that because I actually had to look her up on MBD to confirm it's actually the same actress because she has such a different haircut here.
Yeah, I was not a fan of it.
Yeah, I really liked her retail worker kind of professional haircut. That was definitely amazing. But like, it grown on me, and of course, the voice was still there. The interactions with Scott, I just love the two of them. It's my
Their
biggest ship,
chemistry is
like in
great.
the entire. Yes, their chemistry is amazing. They are so good for each other, and
Hmm.
it's not like. It's not forced. It's not like thrown around as like this cheap romance. You actually see that both of these characters are just so good with each other. Even though he's kind of mad, or she's kind of mad at her, and
Yeah.
but she cannot help it. She's freaking smiling under her breath anytime he does like something
Yeah, I
stupid,
think it's
and
so great.
like
Even in the ways that they feel like they don't belong together uh or that they're not compatible, they still end up with compatibility. I think it's so great the way that their relationship is handled.
one of my notes is I love her long smile. It looks like a watermelon.
That is the
Whenever she like her
weirdest
all her
note.
teeth are out.
Yeah, she's
It's
got a
so
big
cool.
old smile. She's a very pretty woman.
She is, but like not like a conventionally hot person. Of course, she's extremely hot, but like it's not like one of those plastic people. She's like
Yeah.
a normal person.
Yeah, like
Hot.
she's not Scarlett Johansson, but she's beautiful in her own way. Um
Scarlett Johansson is freaking Play-Doh woman. Who plastic?
so yeah, did you think that they kind of kept that family core that we really enjoyed from the first one?
Absolutely. That freaking feature has been even improved in this movie.
Hmm.
No matter if it's the relationship between Hope and, of course, the dad, the scientist, Hank Pym, or if it's her relationship with Scott. But like immediately at the very beginning, when we see that Scott is just trying to, be a good freaking dad
Yeah,
who's trying to take care of his daughter, who is just like the sweetest little girl.
so cute.
Obviously she's like Hollywood actress, little girl, so she's a monster in that way. But like she plays it nice, she does her best, and the jokes, like the world's greatest grandma trophy,
It,
it lands so well
it
for
was
me.
so great. Yeah, the humor landed so well. Even with her, I think her delivery uh was really good. The whole Scott Lang on house arrest also just it, it was so good the way that it was handled.
So funny whenever like the freaking detective who keeps harassing him like shows up and immediately explains the girl exactly like in full detail all the reasons why he cannot stop, why he's obliged to do so, because he like uh essentially went against the government laws of the
Hmm.
Sokovia files, and he like gave her the full explanation. It was hilarious.
And the magic trick thing,
Oh yeah.
which
Oh my goodness.
just becomes a repetitive joke. But I think it's done so well. Like when people turn around, they're, how'd you do that?
This movie has no right being this funny, and like for the jokes to actually land this well and to work. Like, what the hell is going on? These are like freaking cheap jokes, but they are pitched so well, and like they last, and you kind of see references after that. It's like the truth serum, it
Right.
just kind of starts, it's like, oh, this is interesting, but it comes back and it works every freaking time they bring it up.
Yeah.
Or
The
Luis's moments, whenever like he starts the jukebox and you need to let it all play out because he never stops, especially when he's on the truth serum.
Yeah, so I think Lewis was actually one of the ones that I felt was a little overdone in this movie. Um, I think that they kind of saw what worked in the first one, and they're like, let's just bring that back. Um, and unfortunately, I just felt like I didn't feel a lot of character development with the side people, like his friends. But overall, as kind of like a gang, they still work pretty well.
Oh yeah, definitely. I agree. There could have been more invested into like, introducing Goggins or even like, the firm staff that were taking care of the security. Those
Hmm.
were all interesting, but
They
I
were.
also kind of appreciate that the movie didn't overstay its welcome. It wasn't all that
Yeah,
long
overpacked.
and it just flew by.
Yeah, no, it's a very good point. The more you try to kind of push into it, the
Stretch things out.
yeah.
Especially after Infinity War, that was just so freaking packed with
Yeah,
constant
that
action.
was a lot. Yeah,
Kind
but
of
no,
exhausting even.
it is. Yeah. So like, I think that the fact that this one's a lot lighter and without the stakes are a lot lower, and it just, I mean, they're kind of a lot lower superficially, right? Because
Mhm.
uh ultimately it could be really bad. um
This movie should have been a filler. This movie should have been like, let's calm things. We've actually exploded a bomb right
mm,
now, and we need to wait for a bit, to let things settle. But this movie does not do that. It's not a filler. It's a continuation, and it has a huge implication. Like right at the very end, we actually see something that will have huge impact for the end game,
indeed. Indeed.
and
And
we'll get to it.
yeah, for sure. The Okay, so let's talk about Ghost, or I don't know if you have any other notes that you want to go over before we
Okay,
get
okay.
there.
Just to get a few small things out of the way, I love how this movie depicts essentially split parenthood over the little girl. I love the fact that the cop that
Mhm.
the daughter's mom is currently with is supportive. He's on Scott's side, and he's genuinely like a nice, good guy who
Yeah.
wants him to succeed because he knows that the daughter cares
It's all
about
for
him,
Cassie,
and
yeah.
it's so refreshing that there is like no jealousy, there are no spiteful moments. We got a bit of it in the first movie, but like eventually everyone got over it, acted like adults, and this is exactly how these situations should be solved.
Yeah, and we talked about that in for the first movie, right? Because uh, we understood that the cop was just doing what he needed to do. Like if the movie was from his perspective, you could not hold the things that he did against him. Um because he's just protecting his family. And I think we only see that being developed even more, except now Scott is part of his family, you know?
Yes,
And I think that it's kind of amazing how mature they depict this because it could be more competitive. It could be more um conflict driven, but it's not.
yeah, so many tropes that are so overdone in movies and TV shows that are just, hey, let's paint this person the worst possible picture to make the other guy look stand
Right,
out,
exactly.
as the world's greatest dad that we should all cheer for. No, these are all people who have their redeeming qualities. And if two people, even despite the differences, manage to just sit down, talk things over, and just kind of do their own things and respect each other, this is how things should be done. And I'm just so glad that this movie actually depicted it so well.
I agree. And you know what's also something that I'm not sure that we touched upon in the first movie, but I do want to bring it up. And it's the idea or the concept that I can understand why Scott and the girl's mom, that I don't know her name, aren't
Forgettable.
together. Like
Yeah.
I can completely see that they probably were not super compatible. They were together, they had a child, but it's so clear to see that she's doing much better with this other guy, and that Scott isn't really her type of person. And I think that that's okay, right? Like I think that that is good to put on film and to show that some people just don't belong together.
Indeed. And sometimes you unfortunately have to find out the hard way. You need to try certain things
Agreed.
you need to open certain doors to then realize, oh, maybe I should come back from here.
Yeah. And yeah, and then seeing like the overall picture of the family, everybody's supportive of each other. It's such a beautiful thing to see.
So refreshing. And again, this movie has no right like telling us these things in such an adult, mature, and entertaining way.
Right. Right. It
It's a
should
freaking
be
Ant-Man movie. It's supposed to be action flick.
right, exactly. Yeah, yeah. Um okay, so that's another
Ava.
thing, right? This the first one was very heist driven, right? This
Yes.
one isn't necessarily heist driven, um, but we do have like that sense of a mission as well, and it
Thi-
all revolves
This
around
movie,
Ghost.
this movie is kind of all about desperation and
Indeed, yeah.
being put in a position where you have almost no other choice but to be a bit selfish, where you need to do certain things that you may not even like or agree with for your own survival. And that kind of sums up who Ava or Ghost is. She is absolutely batshit crazy. Crazy hot, if you ask me, but that's besides the point. She is scared. She is hurt. She is in pain. A perfect woman, if you ask me. But most importantly, she has someone who would sacrifice anything to protect her, to help her, to care for her, almost like a father figure. And my boy Morpheus, in my opinion, is the best bad guy in the entire MCU universe. He trumps Thanos, he trumps all the other bad guys we have seen or we will see. I consider him the best villain in MCU universe because he has a valid reason to do all the evil stuff. He's smart about it, and he knows when he goes too far, he comes back and he actually is able to change his priorities and do what is right because that is what he currently believes in. He changes by the situation when the situation changes. And it's just, again, so refreshing to see.
So I'm not gonna agree with that
Okay,
he's
give me
the
your counter argument.
well. I don't have a counter argument. I don't think that he's the best. Solely based on the fact that the scale is smaller. And I think what he has to accomplish is not the same as other villains, you know?
Yes, I
Um,
agree with that.
but the fact that I can't disagree with anything you say is what makes him a good character. I
He's
completely
extremely
agree.
well written.
Very well written. And the mission and the what is at risk for him is all with Ava. And I think it's kind of a parallel to what like Scott would do for his daughter. And
Mhm.
and it's so beautiful because since the first movie, and it's funny because all this stuff isn't thrown in your face. It's just happening there, and you have to pick up on it because we have Hank and his daughter. You have Scott and his daughter, and you have this guy that's being a father figure to that, and it's like all of these fathers would do the exact same thing if they had to. Um, and I think that that's kind of what makes the complexity of this movie once you actually think about it deeper than superficially, because it's kind of a comedy action movie. There is all of this stuff under the hood.
You're absolutely right. It is a comedy action movie, and it has no right being this fucking deep and this like much tugging on my heartstrings. This is exactly the trope that I've mentioned so many times over these podcasts that I adore so very much. Just like shitty dads who are trying their best, to just be good dads, even though they're kind of single dads, and it could be a mom too. In this case, I don't like restrict myself just to appreciate this trope from the male or female perspective. I just love single parents who may not be the best dads, but they try their best to do what is right. And it's just it's my favorite trope, probably in like all the movies. And this movie gives me so much of it.
Yeah, it's pretty great. Like in comparison, let's talk about another dad that I'm not going to mention his name, but if you're having issues as a person, then what I'm going to do is instead of risking everything to help you, I'm going to throw you to earth without your powers. And I'm going to let you figure it out.
Oh,
that is a difference in father figures, but no, it's pretty great that and that just kind of goes to show you how family is still the emotional core to both Ant-Man movies.
Oh my god, it totally is. But like, I just don't understand how this movie isn't like mandatory viewing for like both kids and parents. To me, this is like freaking legendary movie. The way it treats some of these complicated issues, and it just does it so well. I adore Morpheus as a character, the way he's written, the way he interacts, but like everything around him is great too. The fact that, he of course had a conflict with Hank Pym. The first thing that Hank Pym does whenever he needs to mark his territory and whenever he needs to resolve a conflict is to of course punch a person. Is to freaking smack a bitch. And he does in this movie too. And it's great. And like the way he's absolutely mercilessly roasting him in his office, Morpheus to Hank Pym, and like Scott joins in, because finally there is someone on his side, in this unfair dynamic where it's always Hank and Hope kind of against him. It's just so funny to see.
Yeah. So we were speaking about Lewis earlier. Do you think that the storytelling scenes felt old this time, or do you think that that it was still fun to see?
I liked it. I shouldn't. This is exactly the kind of stuff in movies that usually detract me from enjoying it. But he just kind of grew on me. And the moment I kind of realized in my headcanon that he's you, I enjoy him even more. It's just nice, having a cameo from M9 in these movies.
Yeah. It's just like, oh, look, M9's in this movie. Nice. Oh, man. But no,
I'm losing my shit every time he's on screen. I just can't help it.
Yeah, no. And then the whole, like, the car scene and stuff like that, like his reactions are so over the top and hilarious. I think this time we get a little bit more of Jimmy Woo and the FBI. I think I like his character as well, and I like
he's great,
and I like the random cameos that he makes in the MCU. I think that just one of those like things that you can sprinkle in and it'll be like a little Easter egg, but I liked his role in this movie as well.
Indeed. I believe that the scene where he kind of asks Scott like what he's up to, and Scott kind of implies, that it almost looks like he feels invited to a date, and then he's like, maybe? I believe that was improvised. Like,
yeah, fully. it was all improvised. Yeah, I saw an interview.
It's hilarious.
No,
goes to show like how good these people are at comedy. Like it just shows.
Timing.
They don't force anything. It's just so perfect.
Yeah, so good. And then we have the uh, Janet Van Dyne's return. Um,
Yes,
and
indeed.
I don't know if I'm getting too ahead of myself. If you had any other points, we can go back. But
Go for it.
I think Michelle Pfeiffer it is great in her role as well.
Oh my god, yes. And the moment you see her, there is something about her. You cannot quite figure it out, but it's like, she has been through a lot. She isn't exactly saying everything that happened. There is definitely more about her, something perhaps even sinister. And I
Yeah,
love it.
yeah, because it was it was an underlying feeling, but the feeling was there where there was a bit of tension and almost like it almost felt like conflict, but not really. It was just like an underlining tone of this person is not the same person, and I think that it's that she portrayed that very well.
Indeed, indeed. Something happened in that quantum realm all this time that she was
Hmm.
there. Time kind of flew differently. It's a whole new freaking universe. And again, this movie is probably the most shining example of how well everything's integrated in the MCU universe. Both the overall story, both the upcoming story, the characters that are just throughout this universe. It's so well done. And I cannot wait to see the third movie after
I
this.
I wish that I was in like a writer's room at some point just to see like their vision board. Like that's
Yeah,
all
the
that I want to
web
see.
of all the
Yeah,
possibilities.
I just want to see where everything is connected by strings. It looks like a
Like a crazy person's
like a
room.
crazy person. Yeah, murder room. Like I just want to see how you have all this connected and how far back you thought about certain things, or are you just being reactive, right? Because I think that that's the best achievement that Marvel can make is that we don't know when you decided to add this to the story because it fits so perfectly.
Exactly. Like I have nothing to add to this because I hope I explained this in other podcasts too. That I genuinely appreciate when things connect, when they are consistent, but also when the movie kind of isn't afraid to break a little bit of consistency for the sake of good storytelling.
Yeah,
Just like we sometimes do in RP. Sometimes you need to improvise. Sometimes you do need to push the boundaries a different way. Do something that doesn't exactly make sense. Break the wall a little bit. Make
yeah,
us guess. Make us feel surprised.
I agree. So I'm gonna open up the floor for you to go through some of your notes to make sure we don't miss anything.
Thank you, Mr. Nine. I only have a few comments that kind of sum up, my overall appreciation of this movie. There was another amazing actor from the X Files during the school scene. It was Reggie. For any X Files fans, you should immediately recognize his face. He is amazing.
I don't remember the scene. Yeah,
There, there, the way Hope teases Scott whenever his suit is malfunctioning is just so hot. I love it. It's like that's the relationship goals that I want in my life. I want to turn like into a 10-meter long tall John, and I want like a nice lady to like make fun of me and then turn me into a little midget. Sorry, a little person.
so
I can call my people the way I call myself. Okay,
so it's
those are my homies.
I love that scene in very many ways because of what you're saying, right? Like the teasing, it it's in complete contrary to what I was saying about his ex-wife or the baby mama, is that that moment right there, you can see where their compatibility meets even more, right? Like she's not afraid to push the boundary of humor a little bit, just because she knows their relationship, right? And
Mhm.
I think it works fine, even though he's not having the best time at that moment.
Yes.
But it works because she understands who they are together. And the fact that
Mhm.
and what I love more about the relationship is that she challenges him.
Oh yeah.
It's not just like it's not just humor, it's not just you know she's hot.
It's
It's
not a damsel in distress. It's not a one-sided
exactly.
relationship where she's kind of just there to be, the RP partner. This is almost her movie. She's almost like the main
Mhm.
hero. They equally share the main hero status in this movie, according to my opinion.
No, I agree. Oh man, and that restaurant scene in the beginning. Oh,
So badass.
Jesus, yeah.
Indeed. And Goggins, of course, is great. I love him in every single thing he's ever done.
Oh, and the without I don't know if it's part of your notes, but the visuals for Ghost and like her abilities and stuff like that, so badass.
So terrifying. It reminds me of the Matrix twins, if you remember the
Yeah,
second and
yeah,
third
yeah, yeah.
one. Whenever they kind of like phase through stuff, it's so dangerous and so kind of like terrifying. And like the way you see her just being so in pain, you sympathize with her, and you completely understand where she's coming from. She's scared. She's trying to save her life, you know. And like, what does she care about like this old lady who's been stuck in a freaking quantum realm? This is a chance for her to survive, to not be in constant pain for just a few moments, you know. It's I just love the motivation of everyone in this movie.
Yeah. What else you got?
The phone call emergency. It's just amazing. Like so great.
Yes.
Get the man his fucking suit. This is, of course, in relation to Louis because he definitely deserves one. And because of this movie, I finally realized what the ghost card in Marvel Snap is. I always thought it's just like
I
a
love when
random
you make
weird
those
man.
connections, John.
I really irrationally like the card. It's not in meta, it's never good, but it always helped me, you know, get my reveals sooner than my opponent because that always lost me my games.
Maybe we should go back to Marvel Snap.
Oh,
No,
don't
I'm
do this
kidding.
to
I'm
me.
kidding. I'm kidding.
Oh, the pain. Okay, and let's talk about the post-credit scene because I already love this movie. It was already my favorite movie in the MCU universe. And then you watch this.
Are we talking about
You watch.
guys?
Sorry, talk about what?
Are we talking about when he's like, guys?
Yes. And you know, he's of course in the quantum realm. He
Yeah.
is just, you know, trying to go back. And then there is nothing. And then we remember what movie we watched before this movie, and it
Yep.
all clicks. It's all connected. Like throughout this movie, I forgot where we are. I have goosebumps right now talking about this. It was so surprising to me and so well done. Whenever we get to the end game, I will mention many times why I dislike the blip, you know, the
Yeah.
extinction event. But in this movie, it just worked so well. And like for you to see the ashes, oh,
The way that the times synced up was beautiful. Like beautiful storytelling,
great.
right? Because we always have those conversations that we say, where the hell is everyone else while this is happening, right? It's kind of nice to know when movies are happening at the same time or when stories are happening at the same time. And the fact that this ended at that moment was insane. Like, was what you say, like goosebumps, because it just brought you back to how you felt, like the dread you felt in Infinity War. And it was like,
yes,
no, this
all
movie
over
was
again.
fun. Yeah, this movie was fun, but you just reminded me where we are. And
Indeed.
and it felt so natural too, not shooting. It just worked.
And just like Endgame made me kind of not enjoy the Infinity War as much, this movie brought it back up because simply because of this moment, it made this movie so much better. And it was already my favorite movie. So like it's 11 out of 10. That's the only thing I can say.
Nice. Yeah, it's definitely a good one. And I think that for like sequels or like, you know, the twos in most series, I think that this is probably one of my favorite sequels. Since I don't often like them as much as the first one.
I can understand that. And it's very popular. Like, ask anyone about Matrix. They're always going to tell you that the first one is the best and the
Right.
sequels are just shit, you know. I always enjoy these movies as a package. I love, whenever someone
Yeah.
asks me about Matrix, I will tell them, love the first one, love the second one, love the third one. Because to me, it's the entire series that I enjoy. And I love the beginning, the middle part, that is always, you know, a bit boring. And the end is just so epic. Love it. Same with Lord of the Rings. Same with just so many other movies. And that's
Yeah, because
where I
a
land.
lot of the times you got to think of them as like Act 1, Act 2, and Act 3. When you're watching them, But
Pretty much. It's like reading a book. You're not
yeah,
gonna just like a single chapter. You're gonna like the entire book, right?
yeah. Is that it for your notes?
Honestly, that's it. Like, I have nothing more to say. I hope that my enthusiasm about this movie will infect at least one more person who's never seen this movie, and they will give it a chance. Give the entire Ant-Man series a chance, because I am not just saying this again to be contrarian, to be like, oh, all these other Avengers movies are shit. No, I'm not saying that. They're amazing. They're great. They set up this entire universe. I love that this movie is a part of them. But like, I stand behind every word that I said about this movie. I adore it for all those reasons. Yes, I'm probably the main target audience for it. I can understand why this movie would have like 60%, rating, and all the other people would be like, yeah, give me Endgame already. I want that. I want to see how things end. But like, this movie sets that up, and it also has huge implications, for the Endgame movie, as I mentioned at the very beginning.
Yeah.
So you should watch this.
Yeah, I think that that's kind of a point that I was going to make too. So I'll just kind of segue on that. This is not a skippable movie. This movie sets up so many different things for moving forward that are super important, not just for Ant-Man and the Wasp, but the entire universe as a whole. Um, and and it's just fun. It's just fun, and there's a lot of things that you can go deeper with to enjoy the relationships, the characters themselves. This is definitely a fun one.
And it's just so nice to see that the juggernaut of this universe, the MCU, isn't afraid to give Ant-Man, a little tiny freaking superhero that is just third grade, to give him such an important role in the upcoming one. He deserves the paycheck. I hope he got a lot from it.
Yeah, and it's kind of proof that you can have such a big eventful movie like Infinity War, and then still have a successful smaller stakes movie followed up right after, which like just thinking about it seems stressful.
Indeed, indeed. I think I need a cigarette after this movie. I don't even smoke.
Yeah. But I mean, I think that's pretty much it. This is probably going to be a shorter one, but there's not really a whole lot of debating or anything to do over this because it's just a fun movie that follows up, the previous Ant-Man and follows up a lot of stories while setting up future ones.
Indeed, indeed. Rarely do I ever watch a movie that I have no issue with, no problem. Just this ended exactly how I wanted it to, and I never saw this coming. This was just perfect in every single way to me, and yeah, love it, and couldn't recommend it more to anyone. Even those who are not familiar with the MCU universe, I think they will still get a lot out of it. Which brings us to the next one, which is of course Captain Marvel.
Yeah, that's going to be probably a quick one too. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how that one goes.
Okay, cards on the table. I actually really like it.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
Unironically, I enjoyed it both the first time and the second time. Second time even more.
Okay.
And not just because you hate it, not just because I understand that it's very, very, very not beloved. That's how much I can understand it. Yeah, I love Brie Larson.
I like Brie Larson too, and I think that that's part of my disappointment with it.
Oh.
But so stay tuned for that conversation. However, our next episode is going to be another Dexter Resurrection summary or episode recap because we started doing that. So if you guys want to listen to that, we are watching the new series and just kind of chatting it up.
Yes, indeed. I cannot wait to see what my favorite Uber driver is up to in the next episode.
It's called Your Car.
Oh, sorry about that. Please don't sue me.
No. Well, thank you guys for hanging out. Thanks, John, for the chat, and we will see you next time.
Thank you, Mr. Nine. Bye-bye.